Hi, everyone. I'm Bethany. This is Audra.
Yo.
There she is. And we are the Sewcial Hour podcast, and we normally release a podcast every Tuesday. But we decided to do a fun little Sunday live to talk all things Project Runway. And by the way, I can take no credit for this. This was Audra's idea.
I have a delay, so hold on. I have a delay, so hold on.
Okay.
This could get interesting.
By the way, it's our first time going live, so we appreciate your patience.
Okay. Can you say something, Bethany?
Hi, Audra.
Okay. Let me try this. Okay, go ahead.
See if it does it. Is it still do it? It was the headphones?
Yeah, let me take it out. Like you were saying, I could hear you, and then I'd hear you again.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. So, okay, it's better. Hi. Let's start over. Hi.
Hi, I'm Bethany.
I'm Audra.
And we're the Sewcial Hour podcast, and we normally release a podcast on Tuesdays. And the reason we don't normally go live is because this is kind of how our podcasts go when we record it, and then we end up like editing all of that out. So it sounds really nice, but we decided, or actually Audra decided, that she wanted to do, it would be fun to do a live about Project Runway because we both love fashion. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And then I don't think she really knew what she was signing up for with me, but we're going live. We're live right now, and we're going to hang out and talk all things Project Runway episode 1 and 2. So if you haven't watched them, spoilers will be happening.
Spoilers will be happening. Well, and I think how this came down, on Friday, you and I were chatting, and I'm like, okay, I have an idea, and I'm kind of hesitating to say it because I'm not sure if I want to put this out in the universe. And here we are. I think the quote was, Bethany was, I lit the fire and Bethany exploded.
Yeah, because I made a slide deck. I made a slide deck with images of all of that goes through the entire like first 2 episodes. And Audra, I'll let you guess how many slides there are. I didn't tell you before we went live because I didn't want you to bail on me.
Yeah. I was thinking this would be like just like a let's get together and chat and hang out, and then now there's slide decks. So
I'm visual. We gotta see what we're talking about.
Okay, so you're gonna probably talk about the challenge. We're gonna cover probably each look. I'm gonna wager a solid, I'm saying like 72.
Oh, I could have done more, is what you're saying. It's 42.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Awesome. Okay.
I figured we would add fluff. But yeah, here we are. All right. So
we love Project Runway. Die Hard Project Runway. I was gonna bring up my Christian Siriano book. I have a signed Christian Siriano book, and I have a signed Christian Siriano like sketch on my wall. I love Project Runway.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I was gonna grab it and bring it up. I'll bring it up next week.
Okay. So we're gonna do this every Sunday. It'll be this following Thursday's episode that airs on Thursdays on Hulu, Disney Plus, or Freeform. I think I watched them both yesterday and took a ton of notes, and then made a 42 page slide deck with all the images. We did have to kind of screen grab some images, so some of them aren't the best quality, but we even have notes. We have our tablets. We have notes. She's got wine. I've got peach tea and a Diet Coke. So buckle up because we're gonna have some fun today. This is very different than our podcast. That's a little more structured. I just want to say hi to So Francie, and Carrie is tuning in from Wyoming, and Jess, she's finishing up binding her quilted pencil bag that she started. But she started the intro to Project Runway. Love the princess villain theme. Yes, we're going to dive into that. So Janet, hi Janet, from Florida. One of the students was on shows yesterday ago 3 times. That's amazing.
Oh, actually, wow.
I have a friend that I follow. She works for Bernina, and she's an educator, and she finally got to post today that she got to go there to the set at Project Runway because the sewing machines are sponsored by Bernina this time. And she got to be on set and help support with the machines. And obviously this is all recorded in the future. And then and now it's coming out. So she was finally able to share that, and I thought that was so cool, because she showed like a selfie of her with like the zipper entrance.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
That's in my notes, like, hey, Burnett 08 in the episode. I have to tell so Dave's watching. Hi, honey.
Oh, hi, Dave.
And my mom.
Oh,
yay, family
honey.
support.
I love it. I love it.
So Francie, how are you watching Great British Sewing Bee? Because Bethany and I were just talking earlier about how do you watch? Are you in the States, and how do you watch it? Because we want to watch it really bad.
Yeah, we really want to. Okay, so we need Francie, if you could like send me an Instagram DM or a Facebook DM and let me know how you're watching it if you're in the US, because we really want to watch the Great British Sewing Bee and maybe even do something like this for that as well. But we are like, how do we get access to it? And we want to make sure like everyone can watch it. You know, like is it, maybe we just didn't Google hard enough. I don't know.
Give us all the details. And hey, Lena, she's local. She's a quilter.
Awesome.
Got a book coming out. Like Lena, drop it in the notes so I don't speak incorrectly. It's a Spanish book on quilting. So yeah. Awesome. I can give me notes and I'll talk about it. So, okay. First challenge, being the Disney kid in this duo. I loved everything about this challenge
I actually enjoyed it. But let's kick things off with the slide deck.
Okay, we'll go with the slide deck.
All right, we're going through the.
I haven't seen the slide deck, just so everybody knows.
I didn't want to scare her, but I thought we would do like for those who haven't. Oh, Lena said, "Learn to Quilt Bilingual Guide."
Yes,
that's the name of her book. That's exciting. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna run through episodes 1 and 2 today because they released 2 episodes for the premiere, and then following this, it'll be 1 episode a week, and we'll recap on Sundays. So this is just fun. So just for those who haven't watched Project Runway in a while, the host is Heidi Klum.
She's back.
She's back. How long was she out of it? I don't remember.
Probably. I'd have to look. Probably at least 4 seasons.
Really?
Hold on. I can Google while you're talking.
Okay. So Heidi Klum is the host. She kind of was like the host for many seasons. So there's some changes that have come over the last few seasons, and now they've kind of revamped everything. So she's back for the first time in a while. And we have mentors. So like if you've ever watched in the past, Tim Gunn was our mentor. But now we have Christian Siriano, which is who Audra was talking about earlier. He's a designer, and he is the winner of season 4. So one of the first seasons, and he has gone on to make a massive career following the show.
So Carly Kloss became the host in season 17, and she was there. And there wasn't really a host in season 20 because that was the all-star season. So she was there for 3 years.
Okay. That makes sense.
So Heidi's been gone since like 2018.
Wow. That's crazy. Yeah. All right. So we got our mentor. This time our judges are Nina Garcia. She's the editor-in-chief for Elle magazine. And we have a new judge this time called Law Roach. He is a celebrity stylist and image architect, which I've never heard that term before, but I actually kind of like it. I'm not going to lie. But he is a big personality that you'll just know if you've watched the show, you already know. Like, he says what's on his mind, and I'm actually here for it. So now just a recap, the winner of Project Runway, this is what they'll receive. They'll receive $200,000, 6 months representation by agency PR, which is really cool. A spread in Elle magazine, obviously, because Nina Garcia is one of the judges, and a mentorship with CFDA, which is the Council for Fashion Designers of America, which is really cool. So like they get a lot of support following their win so they can start building their brand and grow as a designer, which is really cool, make a name for themselves.
Yeah. And Janet made a comment. Yeah. So Heidi and Tim did their own show on Amazon Prime for a few years. That was okay. It was more geared at, there are people that had brands. And
I remember that. And I watched it because
it was okay. Singer, it wasn't bad.
I think Singer sponsored it with the machines. And then what I really liked about that show, and I can't remember the name of it right now, but what I really liked about that show was the winner of each episode, that outfit became a ready-to-wear version that they would sell, and you could buy it off Amazon.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really cool. Like you could buy different pieces of that outfit.
Making the cut, it was called.
Making the cut. Yes. I actually really liked it. because I felt like it was more relatable to the fashions that I might wear versus like what we're going to see in Project Runway, which tends to be very over the top, which is also really fun. More avant-garde.
Before we get much further, I just have to comment. Does Nina ever age?
I don't think so.
Life goals is to age like Nina Garcia because she is just stunningly beautiful. It's like she gets more beautiful every year.
It's not fair. It's not fair.
Life goals to age like Nina Garcia.
All right. Our designers. We're starting with 12.
I feel like 12. It's smaller. Doesn't it feel like a smaller cast than previous seasons?
I don't remember.
I don't know. I'd have to look. I should have Googled before.
Okay. So I put these in order as they came into the show and were introduced. Okay.
I love this slide deck. I lit the fire and Bethany exploded.
Literally.
I was and like, let's just chat over some wine about the show.
No. We need visuals. We need visuals.
It's fine. I'm a visual learner, so it's fine.
I also, I don't know if I mentioned this at the beginning, but I broke out my heaviest, biggest, boldest fashion glasses just for this. So they'll be sticking around.
They're absolutely fire.
Matching the personality. So our first designer that came on was Joseph McCrae, and
one name.
He got under my skin right off the bat because he was like, Joseph McCrae, don't put a space in the first and last name, all one name. Joseph McCrae. And then everyone who came in who would be like, oh, hi, Joseph. And he'd be like, no, it's Joseph McCrae. I'm like, okay, Joseph. And he's like, no, the whole, and it was really hard for some people. And he just kept saying it. But my favorite part, and I'm kind of fast forwarding a little bit, but is when they get to like the judging round and Heidi's like, Joseph. And he didn't correct her. And I was like, he's just trying to be annoying. And it annoyed me. But then from then on, everybody just called him Joseph. He just kind of let it go. It didn't stick, buddy. It didn't stick.
Well, I noticed the lower third, the lower third is the thing, like it's at the bottom of the screen that says their name. So the lower third was right, like the first couple times. And then I noticed like episode 2, I think it was 2 words. Then I got to pay more attention, but
I know. And I only put it as one word, but for the introduction of him.
Hey, if that's what he wants, it's what he wants. More power.
But going forward, it's just Joseph because everybody else is just a first name. But we have Joseph McCrae. Ethan, if you don't know who Ethan is, Ethan was on RuPaul's Drag Race, and the guy's like 6'4". Like he is so tall.
I Googled it because I was curious how tall he was.
He's really tall. And so he came in. He is actually very talented. VJ is from the Philippines. And then we have Madeline.
The history girl. I'm here for it.
Yeah. She bases everything. All of her style is based off like her modern twist to historical fashion. And I think it's really, really cool. But sometimes I don't 100% like get it, but like I get it. You know what I mean? Like she stretches my thoughts on things, but she hits.
Which is what they're supposed to do, right?
She hits every time. So I feel like people are kind of sleeping on her, but I think she's one of those sneaky people that's going to like stay in the game. But then all of a sudden, like people are falling off and she's still around. Like I'm kind of hoping that that's the case with her. All right. So then we have Jesus, Joan, Yuchen, and Casey. Now, Jesus was on before. I don't think I have those notes pulled up.
I think it was season 7.
There you go. Now I've lost where I was. So Jesus, he's from Mexico. He was on season 7 when he was 21 and he's now 36. Okay. So they showed some video clips of him when he was on at 21. He looked like a baby. It doesn't even look like the same person.
Yeah. I mean, like if it wasn't for them showing flashbacks, I would not remember. And honestly, same with Casey, but she started off first her season. So
Casey was on season 19. So just 2 seasons ago. And she was she was out the very first episode. So her whole thing coming back was like, I feel like I didn't get to prove myself, show what I'm capable of. And I wanted a second chance. And so they allowed her to come back for this season. And here she is back again. So and Joan, I just want to call out. I have all the ages for everybody, and they put their ages on the screen when you watch the show. So you probably already know this if you've watched, but Joan is 60.
Yeah. Well, and I think she's another sleeper because
I think so too.
Her work is great.
It's great, but I'm starting to see a repetition of the big flower like she's wearing right here, which we'll get to when we go through her stuff. But the second episode, she kind of did something that didn't have that. So I think she's more versatile, and she just was using the first episode to show who she is, and what she can do. But she is structurally sound as a sewist. And Yuchen he's like he's kind of sneaky too. I think he's one of those quiet ones that's gonna like he shocked me out the gate.
Yeah.
With what he did. And then Angelo, we've got Belania, Alex, and Antonio. So if Antonio and Jesus look a lot alike, it's because they're twins. They're brothers.
Twins?
There's two of them.
There's two of them.
That's probably one of my favorite quotes from the first episode when Ethan's like, wait, there's two of them. Antonio and Ethan, they're the same age. They're twins. They're 36. Antonio has never been on the show before. And he's, I would say, pretty green in this. But they have very similar personalities.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Very similar personalities.
Well,
also,
they didn't drop it till the second episode. There was a comment that they own a shop together.
I know.
So they clearly work very, very closely together.
Yeah, they are thick as thieves. Angelo's really quiet. You don't even really see him a lot in the first episode or two. He just kind of sneaks in under the radar.
Yeah, and same with, I put it in my notes. It was interesting for like Alex didn't really even show up in the first episode until the runway. Like it wasn't like she was just like all of a sudden it's like, oh, who are you? And it's like, oh, okay. I kind of didn't even know you were here.
And
the power of editing.
I felt like that was a mistake because her garment in the first episode really was stunning. And I thought it hit the mark. And then they just like kind of skipped right over it. And I was like, what? So yeah, we've got a lot of that's 12 designers that we're working with. And so we're gonna jump into the first challenge of episode 1, which is Princess versus Villain. You like my little sketches? I hope you're loving this.
I am dying.
It's amazing what you can find on Google.
Like seriously, we had this conversation like Friday afternoon.
For the record, I didn't draw these. I someone on Google did. I'm glad that Jess says she appreciates my visuals.
Yeah. I mean, I do too. And I also agree, Jess. I agree, Jess. I do kind of love they brought back a few people who got eliminated. I guess my question is that going to continue? And then also, how do you decide? Right? Because we have 20 seasons under our belt.
Well,
so
and I thought it was kind of odd that they did it when they just had an all-star season, bringing all the people back. So it's like, are there not enough new designers willing to go on this show that you have to like?
Yeah. So I agree. I do love that they brought him back. And then I just wonder what it means for future episodes. And I mean, we can talk, I think at the end, I kind of want to talk about the formatting of these new episodes, because there's definitely a very clear format change. So I want to make sure before we end tonight, we talk, it might come up as we were discussing, but
yeah. Okay. So I need to pull up episode 1 notes. So this episode is called New House, New Rules. And they jumped into something that group challenges. I get why they do it, because there's 12 of them, right? Like I get it. But
I feel I'm not a fan. I don't
like it either.
I like it when they start the season letting people show their style.
Right.
Because you can only show your style so much when you're in a group. Yeah. And so it's fun. It's fun to watch. It's great for drama. But I think I like it, especially since we're just getting to know these people. Yeah. I like getting to see kind of what their individual style is. And that's hard in a house. And it looks like that's going to continue. And I'm kind of sad about it, if I'm honest.
Yeah, no. I don't think that they were too thrilled with it starting off as like a group.
Oh, project. Casey was quite upset because that's how she got kicked off in 19 was a group challenge in the first episode.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
hard to find your voice because
Mhm.
all these people are very bold in personality.
And that's why that's what makes them great as
Yeah.
creatives, right?
Well,
There's
and I
nothing
get
wrong with
why
that.
as a
Yeah,
producer, you would wanna do this because it's gonna create drama right off the bat,
yeah,
you're gonna start seeing divides, fights, tears, you're gonna see people, like, banding together against somebody, like, it definitely creates the drama, so I get why they do it, but if you're really trying to find the best designer, is it really leaning
yeah.
towards that? I don't think so, but from a TV's perspective for ratings, I get why they did it. So our challenge was princess versus villain. And they were split into two groups, House of Princess and House of Villains. And they already had everybody's like run like I don't know if you noticed this, but at the beginning they had on either side of the room mannequins with one outfit, garment, or whatever design that each designer has made, like something that they're most proud of, I guess, or something. They didn't even go through and really show them, which I thought was disappointing. But when they went to split them up into their houses, they had six on one side, six on the other. And they said, wherever your garment is, go stand with it. And it was kind of threw me off because I was like, wait, those are theirs? Like there was a disconnect there for me.
Yeah, well, and I think that kinda goes into the new format of the show, is
Yeah.
it's really quick and they don't get real deep on stuff, like,
No, because it used
everything
to
is
be
like
like an hour and a half, and now
yeah.
it's an hour, and that's with commercials,
Well,
so
it's
it's
not even that,
literally
is
like
it
40
yeah,
minutes.
because I watched it on Disney Plus with no commercials, it's 46 minutes,
Yeah.
and so they don't really get to dive deep into sketching or time at mood or draping
Mhm.
or sewing, it's all very quick, and for
It
the
is.
sewists like us who, like, geek
Ooh,
out on, like,
I
"How are
know.
you doing that? What are you sewing? How are you doing that? Can you know, we wanna, like, all the
I wanna
details."
soak it all in. I wanna
Yeah,
see your design sketches, and I wanna see the fabric choices you're picking out.
yeah,
I mean, I don't feel like we got really any of that. So they've split up into 2 groups, so the producers decided who was gonna be in each group.
yeah.
And what I thought was really interesting is that they split up the twins
Mm, mhm.
from the jump.
I
And I
mean, it
actually
makes
think
sense,
that was
though.
I think that was smart.
Yeah, because it's almost like you've got 2 people, like, 2 against 4 if you put them in a
Yeah.
group. So
Yeah.
I think that was honestly the fair way to approach it.
I think so too. So the House of Princess is Casey, Joseph, Antonio, Madeline, Joan, and Angelo. And then the villains are VJ, Ethan, Yuchin, Jesus, Belania, and Alex. And we're going to jump right into some fun pictures from the season, from this first episode. There's the twins side by side. So if you want to see how much they really do look alike,
Mhm.
it's sometimes it's hard for me to tell them apart.
Yeah, because Antonio's the one with the long hair. Jesus has short hair.
Yeah, but
But
sometimes it's
they
hard to tell with,
yeah.
like, their outfits and stuff, and it's like, now you were talking about Mood, so Mood sponsors all of the materials for the show, and I don't know if you caught this in the first episode, but they had a $600 budget each on fabric to make one design.
Yeah. Well,
That's
I think
stunning.
we should
That's
talk about
amazing.
when we for those of us who are not fashion designers, which is okay, like, we're like, "Ooh, $15 a yard for fabric, that's awesome." When you go to Mood, there are fabrics that are 100, $150 per yard.
Yeah.
So, if you
That's a
get
section that we don't shop in.
yeah, and so they've got so when you say $600 a person, that could be 4 yards of fabric, like, straight up.
Right, right, and then any
And that's not
beading or
including
buttons
motion,
and
beading, like, boning,
mhm,
zippers.
yeah.
I mean, like, it's so and if you're making big gowns, like princess villain stuff, 4 yards is
I know.
so
Yeah. So here's just some fun behind the scenes photos because I definitely wanted to share the Mood visit because they're all standing there with their black bags.
I know, they're black
And it
bags.
just yeah, yeah. So and it was
Um,
funny like how they are in groups and they're at Mood and then like the whole point of each house is whether they're House of Villain or House of Princess, it has to be a cohesive collection, meaning that their pieces can stand alone, but then as a group, they need to make sense. It can't be six completely different pieces. They need to be somewhat cohesive in style or fabric choices or colors or does concept or whatever. And the fact that they're all running around in mood and nobody's talking to each other, nobody knows what each other's buying, I thought was quite interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think in classic Christian,
Yes.
I very much loved it because Christian's like, "Are you guys gonna have a team meeting?" Because one of them, I can't remember who it was trying to call like a team meeting at Mood because
I
you only have 45
think
minutes. I
it
think it was
was
Jesus. Yeah,
Jesus.
so like trying to call a team meeting, and then in classic Christian style of like, do what you want, don't say I didn't warn you. He
Mhm.
was like, okay, so we're not doing a team meeting. All right. Like it was just
Yeah.
very like, I tried. I'm trying to help you. You guys are gonna sink, and that's fine. Like I just always
Yeah.
love Christian's approach of that, like, I'm warning you. I'm seeing the boat go for the cliff, and no one is stopping it.
No, and the quotes were popping, and we'll get to some quotes here in a minute, but let's dive into House of Villain. And our first designer is from Muchin, and I don't know if I put these in the order that they came through, but I tried.
Yeah.
But his design kind of caught me off guard because I wasn't expecting this from him. He's very streetwear, modern. This is very drapey and elegant
Mhm. Yeah.
and sexy.
And I think one of actually my favorite judges' comments was that they actually said this would be a beautiful princess gown, and if like you put it in like a different color,
You could
it
put
would
this
be
in
like
like a pale blue.
a pale blue, like a
Pink.
lilac, like
Yeah.
it would be.
It could be princess or villain, and
Yeah.
it's like see-through. The only thing I didn't love, and I didn't notice it at first until Nina Garcia called it out, is there were these rosettes. There and
Mhm.
because of the lighting and how dark it was, you couldn't see it, but there was, like, one on the chest, like, one kind of down towards, like, the hip, and then there was, like, one on the tailbone,
It was around the
and
tushy.
right on the tush, and honestly, if she hadn't said that, I don't know that I would have noticed it
I
from
wouldn't
the
have noticed it.
video of the show. Now, if I was sitting
Mhm.
there in person as a judge, I would have probably seen it. Those, I did unless they were hiding a place of where the fabric was catching together and stitched together, but I feel like there's, like you could have done, like, a flat embroidered, like, design, like, applique on top of that to hide it instead of this big rosette coming off. I didn't like that,
Yeah.
but if you took that away, I love the veil, I love the lace. I even loved her makeup. He had so
Mhm.
part of the challenge every time when they go down the runway is not just making the garment, but they have to style it with the shoes, jewelry, bags, hair, makeup. Like they go to the makeup room, which is sponsored by Ulta, and they tell them
Yeah.
exactly
And
what
again,
to
not
do.
enough time. Not enough time.
No, and by
And
the
I had
way,
that
they had 1 day for this challenge. I don't know if we mentioned that, but they had 1
no,
day.
but I think I had that in my notes too, like, there usually was, like, a decent chunk that was them, like, back of runway doing final looks, like, final touches,
Mhm.
and, like, none of that shows anymore, and that makes me sad.
I know. I like to see the whole process. The
Yeah,
back of the house of a fashion show is one of the most fun things to be at and to experience, and we're missing all of that, and
yeah.
I know, I agree, but I did like the mascara or eyeshadow, like,
Mhm.
eyeliner running down her face a little bit. I thought that kind of just gave into, like, the mood of her outfit.
Yeah,
I thought his slayed.
yeah.
Is that what the cool kids say? Slay?
Slayed. Um,
Alright. VJ,
yeah,
I did not like this at all. It looked like a
yeah,
trash bag that's been shredded. I did not like it. Nothing about this gives villain. It doesn't give sense of power. These
mhm.
oversized pants with the oversized you've completely lost her body shape.
Yeah.
I feel like it was a dumpster fire.
Well, and I think it showed she didn't, like, really talk to her team,
Mm-mm.
because I think, like, this team, I think, was trying to work together, and it just, like, wasn't happening,
Yeah.
and yeah, so I think it just showed in her
I
work.
just yeah.
It was there.
It was I don't feel like it got enough negative attention though.
True, and I'm not and was she in the was sorry, I shouldn't I'm not were they in the bottom? Or was
No.
she were the
House
okay.
of Villain was not in the bottom.
Yeah, no, I just didn't know what if she got any comment or if they got any
Mm-mm.
comments on their look.
And that's the sad thing is, like, when you're cutting your show down to such little
Mhm.
time and then you have 12 designers, you can't properly, like give feedback to everybody on air. It's not that they didn't do it in person, but like we don't see it, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Angelo.
This was my least favorite.
This was my second least favorite to VJ, but honestly, I had to go back and rewind the show and go, wait, what did he even say? What did he even, like, I slept on it. It just like, there was nothing about this that made me remember it.
Yeah.
I was so disappointed.
Well, and I think this, I will continue to reiterate. I think it's really hard on a group challenge to show who you are the first one out.
Yeah. But like villain and princess, like it couldn't be easier in my mind for style, and nothing about this says I'm a villain.
Well, and we also have to remember that we're coming at it being able to like think about it. Like you said, it's a 1-day challenge. They got thrown like, hey, you've got 1 day to do this. And like you know how to like drape and pattern draft. I don't. And I'm like, granted these people do, but I'm like, if you said to me like, hey, Audra, you need to do something you know how to do in a day and come up with something, I'd be like,
you know what would have saved this for me? A cloak with a power collar. Like some sort of cloak, and then like that is opened up and then maybe reveal parts of this, like a pant underneath would be fine, but like a pant and this, like, and again, it's like plastic wrapped around her body. It's like, it looks like a garbage bag draping behind her. Like, you know, when you unroll the garbage, there's just like a long arm, you don't know where it stops.
Well,
like,
and I don't know who decided on the team that this was going to be their fabric, because I think VJ used a similar fabric. So who on the team decided that they were going to be using this fabric?
I don't know. But there was quite a few different fabrics used across their team of 6 designs, and it for the most part was black. So it's like, even if you stayed in the black family, you didn't have to use this.
True.
So I felt like they had it easier to find a cohesion because black is universal for like villain, right?
Yeah.
Versus princess, which we'll see in a minute. Next up was Jesus. What did you think of this one? I know.
Okay. I felt La Roche had very, very strong feelings about this look.
He did not like it.
He did not like it. I agree. My biggest thing that La Roche pointed out, which I completely agree with, was the treatment of the girls. Because when you don't treat the girls right in an outfit, I think it derails everything. And I think had there been like a corset structure or some type of bodice, something that would have been more flattering to like
her body style, her shape,
well, it's not even just everybody, no matter what, like the boobs need attention. So like you got to take care of them.
Especially when you're going to do see-through, right? Deep V see-through. It was a bold choice. I liked the lace. I liked the bottom. I did not like the coat. I liked the color of the coat. It wasn't even the red that bothered me.
It's like this blood red. It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful way to continue with the villain theme. I liked it. I didn't like that second bold ruffle around the. I felt like if that had been eliminated and been straight all the way down, then it might have, and maybe more of a train instead of this like billowy, because that was putting weight at the bottom, but then you've got all this stuff going on up here and it just felt unbalanced.
Or was the jacket even needed?
I don't really think so.
You know, so.
But I liked the pop of color. Alex.
This was
Alex used velvet.
Alex didn't even show up until like the runway show.
This was one of my favorites. This is one of my favorites from the House of Villain. I thought
a collar, Bethany. It's like a collar.
Well, it's beautiful velvet, which always feels very rich and powerful. That's the perfect ruching and silhouette down her body. It fits and is made beautifully, but it's this power collar. But what you can't, it's hard to see on camera, but on the inside of that collar behind her head is like red, hints of red and some rosettes and beading and all this stuff. Like, it's powerful.
It's beautiful. And I loved, and the collar comment is because Bethany always laughs at me for my love of collars. But just the little black on the
lip.
just a little bit like a little Padme from Star Wars-ish, but like it has like that vibe of like, I give no F's and I'm here to mess stuff up.
She could be a vampire.
Yeah, she's
giving vamp, but which is a villain. Like you know, like it's
giving vampy vibes, and I'm here for it. Yeah,
she is beautiful, beautiful, stunning, and they just kind of glazed over it. They did say that it looked very well made, and even the invisible zipper up the back that goes all the way up the collar, by the way. I don't know if you caught that.
I did.
I was just like, that's stunning. And don't sleep on Alex, right? Like, I just was really blown away by what she put out, considering we really didn't see her building this in the process.
Yep.
All right. And last but not least of House of Villain is Ethan.
Yeah, this truly met the challenge across the board because
it checked all the boxes.
Stylistically, it was their hair, makeup, fabric choice, the claws on the
claws on the gloves,
but showing the hint of skin like in the stomach area.
I also loved the velvet bodysuit, but then the satin cloak cape thing, because it was like you got black, but it felt like two shades of black because you've got the velvet feels very muted, but rich. But then you have the satin, which is really shiny and like adds a sense of elegance. I mean, and then the jewels, that are built into that bodysuit. It was just really stunning. Now, do you know? It's hard to tell, but were the gloves sewn into the cloak as one?
I don't know.
I kind of feel like they were.
My gut says yes, but I'm not going to make any assumptions because I don't know.
I know there was some concern about him being a little too what is the word I'm looking for? Drag queen, because that's what he does. Like, he was on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Not, and he showed it in the second episode too.
And that was Christian Siriano's feedback to him as the mentor is like, make sure you don't go too drag. Like, there's a fine balance between costume and garment, like design, fashion design. Like they live in separate ends of that spectrum. And like, yes, it's a villain, and yes, you can lean into that, but you can't go full drag. Like his tendencies are. So he took that feedback and was like, I need to rein it in, because he had other stuff he was going to do, and then he reined it in. And I thought he hit the nail on the head.
And when people listen to Christian's mentorship, it's usually ends well.
It does. It does. You want him to be a big fan of yours. Yeah. All right. So let's jump into House of Princess. This is Madeline.
I think this goes. I had a favorite quote of this when they were, because remember, so in the House of Princess, Antonio wanted everybody to use this butterfly fabric.
Oh God.
And there were a couple favorite quotes I had. One was from Joan that said, "I'm not here to use basic butterfly fabric." And
I'm sorry, I don't know where he got off thinking that screamed princess.
I'm not sure.
And I don't know why that fabric meant so much to him, because he kept saying, I brought it from home. I brought it from Mexico. I brought it from home. And like, I get it, but like, wait till you're not in a group challenge to force this on everybody. And their faces when they all, Joan goes, I don't know why we're all agreeing to a fabric we haven't seen yet. And then he pulls it out and everybody's like, oh.
But then going to Madeline, my other favorite quote was, I like pants. Because everyone was going to do in gowns. And she's like, I like pants. And look what she did. Pants.
Okay. When I think of Disney princess, I don't think pants.
I don't.
However, the quilted collar, the puffy sleeve, the drama, like, I think it's like a modern day, like if Cinderella was going to brunch, I could see this. I did think the color might have been a little dark for princess, but I think it still worked.
Yeah.
Her construction is on point, by the way.
Her construction is, I think, pay attention to Madeline.
Yes, very much so. And by the way, you guys, if you have comments or feedback on any of these, that even if it's not what we think, please share it in the chat. We'd love for your input as well.
Well, and when I look at this stuff too, I always have to think this is not off the rack, right? Like when we look at it, because sometimes we're so used to going like, would I buy this? The reality is this is not meant to be off the rack. This is meant to be fashion. So like, do those pants make total sense to me? No. But do I also like think it looks great on the runway? Yes. So yeah.
All right. So Madeline, yeah. I mean, I liked it, but it took me a minute to like absorb it. Melania.
This was my favorite
for House of Princess.
For House of Princess.
I agree.
I loved like this thing with the cape thing.
I really liked the tulip skirt on
that
it.
thing.
I liked the tulip skirt. I liked how the satin shoulder straps turned into a cloak and had this like train behind her, and it was very beautiful tulle with designs on it. I liked everything about this. I thought the color really suited her model's skin tone and everything and her shape.
Yeah, the color's beautiful, the boning and like that corset. And it was beautiful.
It was beautiful. I thought it was very much modern day princess.
Yeah.
Without being some big ball gown.
Yep. It felt that you took the words out of my mouth. It's very modern day princess.
Yeah. Joan. This was Joan. Now I couldn't get a full length image of this. It did go to the floor. It was a full gown. But it was more of like a fitted gown to the floor. It didn't have like a big skirt or anything. You can see she's holding it out, but like it was a big bold dress with all the gold and rose gold and everything. And there's that big flower that we saw Joan wearing in her photo. So yeah.
But I think this goes to the group challenge being first. And if that is something she enjoys doing, she had to find a way to show it without it being an individual challenge.
And this kind of floral is not going to fit in with every challenge. So I think she picked the right challenge to show it.
I do too.
The only thing is it really hides this girl's body. It's so big.
It is quite large, but it also, I'm also would love to know how she constructed it because it's pretty freaking cool.
It's really cool. And of course they don't show it. They don't show it.
They didn't show, like there was the amount of sewing and like this kind of goes to, I mean, so we talked about how Bernina is doing machines this season. I didn't catch them mentioning Bernina anywhere in either of the first two episodes. Usually they talk about who they're sewing on, and actually they were Burnett machines.
Yeah.
And I recognize the machine. I know what machine it is, but like that's because we have one in our office and I see it every day, but other people won't. Yep. So I feel kind of bad that as a sponsorship, Burnett / Bernina is not getting a plug because
and maybe they will in future episodes, but they really didn't show a lot because the only thing that kind of came up over around the machines was VJ and who was it? Jesus fighting over a machine because I guess VJ was sewing on a machine, then went back over to the table, and then she came back to sew on that same machine, but like Jesus had sat down at that machine. And there's not enough machines for everybody to have one. So like they have to share because there's some sewing machines and there's some sergers and they just share, right? And it kind of becomes a battle at times, especially when you have 12 people there. And she got so upset that he was sitting at, she's like, that's my machine. He's like, no, they're all our machines.
Yeah.
And he's like, I didn't know you were using it before. I just sat down at the first machine I came to that just happened to be threaded with black thread. Thanks. But like, it takes 2 seconds to thread a machine.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was some drama over the machines. But anyways, Jess says she's not a fan of pants for princess theme, but yay, she wanted to be different. Jess, I agree. But I will say she found a way to incorporate princess elements, but still show who she is as a designer with her pants. So Francie said the pant outfit is messy for her. I can kind of see that with the top of the pant.
Yeah.
Because it's not a clear waistband. So it's a little, but it's definitely different.
So
Jess
Francie,
is a huge flower.
It is a huge flower. So Francie, they had $600 a person as their budget.
From Mood Fabrics. So they had to stay within that budget. Casey, House of Princess. It's a little blurry to capture the back of this dress, but I wanted to capture the back to show how this tulle kind of was everywhere. And the is it Jacquard or whatever Jacquard fabric? It's like
Jacquard.
Jacquard. I can't remember the name of it, but it's like it's like almost like upholstery fabric. It's very heavy and dense, weighted.
Oh, sure, machines. I get what she's saying. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the reason they don't have enough machines for everybody is because they get eliminated so quickly.
Yeah.
That they don't really need that many machines for like one episode, right? And then they start dropping like flies. So I get it. But it also adds to the drama of having to fight over machines. So what did you think of Casey's?
I take away some of the tool. I liked it, but it didn't feel unique. And I didn't necessarily love the way the tool was applied. It felt like it was just pleated and like appliqued on as an afterthought versus integrated into the design.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't mind these two fabrics together.
Mm-mm,
I would have
not at
done
all.
something completely different with it though. I would have done like an actual fitted coat, long sleeve coat with a collar, like a statement collar that came down and kind of like buttoned under the bust, and then the coat turned into like a big skirt, but the front opened up and that was tulle underneath.
Yeah,
That's what I would have done. Have like, because that fabric's so heavy, and when you just add more fabric on top of it like that,
Yeah.
and then you lose the shape of the body and there's like this deep V, but you could, that dress would be so itchy with all that tulle touching your skin across your chest and down your back. And then to cheapen it with the satin strap, that was just a cheap out. Like,
yeah,
it didn't make sense to me. It felt very unflattering.
yeah.
And it could have been so much better.
Well, and I think
color-wise, I liked it though.
Christian called out that the waistline was potentially a concern when he was doing walkthroughs. So
yeah, the tulle is messy, Jess. I agree with you there. It is messy. I don't mind the pleats, but not with tulle.
Oh, I think she did a beautiful job with the pleats.
Yeah.
Because like tulle's not easy to work with. So I mean those pleats on that tulle is stunning. It just may be used in a different way.
Marcy said dress with a collar. That's Audra saying. But when you're thinking of like power princess or power villain, I always lean towards a collar. And I think it can be done in a very regal way. And that she just kind of missed the mark on this, because honestly, I don't think she has, and I don't want this to sound mean, but I don't think she has the sewing skill to make something of structure like that. And that's what this kind of screams to me.
I love that Marcy knows me.
Yeah.
I'm here for the power princess or power villain as long as it's a power collar statement. I'm here for it. I'm pretty sure for work tomorrow, I will be wearing a polo shirt with a popped collar, just so everybody knows.
More than one polo? Are you layering them?
I'm not layering. I'll just do one.
I feel like you should.
I'll post it in my stories if I decide, just so everybody can see.
Oh, I love it. All right.
And then I think I'm wearing my pickleball outfit that you love so much.
Yes. Antonio, House of Princess. This is that butterfly fabric we were talking about. And can I just say that I about died when Nina leans over to Christian during the runway and she goes, "Is that camouflage?" And he goes, "No, it's a butterfly print." Like, oh my God. It doesn't work. It's a loofah.
So these are two of my favorite quotes from the episode. Was when Christian was doing his walkthrough with Antonio, and underneath there is a basic slip dress.
It's a slip dress.
Yeah,
so it's a strapless.
Yeah,
short mini slip dress. Yeah,
and Christian goes, "My intern could sew that in 30 minutes. It's not hard."
And he's not wrong.
That was favorite quote number one. I couldn't sew it in 30 minutes, but
I would need more than 30 minutes, but I could.
I am not a fashion design student or fashion design employee. Also, and then at judging, he continued with, "She looks like a piñata."
I was leaning more towards loofah, but it's hard to tell that there is even a separate dress underneath.
It is very hard. I remember he opened it and they're like, "It looks so much better open."
But not on the runway. They didn't open it on the runway. And they even said like, "Why didn't you do that?" He's like, "Well, he said this." And he kept blaming Christian, which we'll get to the judging in a minute. But like, he kept blaming Christian. And Christian's like, "I never told you to put a stupid belt on it and keep it shut." Like, he kind of snapped back like, own it. Like, you messed up. And he's like, I told you you needed more. And the coat could have just been hanging off the shoulders and the arms and been this cool thing behind it with the dress in the front. And then we would have seen the butterflies. We would have seen your vision. But to put a belt around it.
Yeah. The one format change I do like this year is that Christian is sitting there during judging. He is usually not there. So I do appreciate that he is in the room and can be in those conversations where he can say, like, dude, I told you, and then he can clap back, and then they can clap back at each other.
Yeah.
Or as my daughter would say, or as Charlie would say, clock them. That is like apparently a term, like, so they get clocked, like corrected. So
Jess says she totally sees bath loofah. So
yeah,
again, with a lot of tulle. Now I will say his use of tulle is impressive. I don't know how he got the tulle to look like that.
Yeah.
So I'll commend that compared to the pleats that Casey did, but this was probably my least favorite outfit.
I would like to preface it at this point as we're like dissecting all of these things. These are all incredibly, incredibly, incredibly talented people.
Oh, yeah.
They wouldn't be on this show otherwise. So we are in no way questioning their abilities. It's just like,
and there's no way I could have done better in the amount of time that they had.
Absolutely not. So this is just us.
We're just opinionated fashionistas.
Well, and as sewists, we look at it from the perspective of like sewists and like that work with that tulle. Like, I don't even know if I can make a crappy tulle skirt as good as Amazon can. So like, I fully respect the talent. It just didn't meet the challenge.
No. Now, I said this was my least favorite, but I'm actually going to take my words right back and say it was this. This is a couch cushion.
Yeah. And like, and with Joseph McCrae, I see that this is like very much his style, right? Like we saw, and I think one of the people, I think Francie mentioned, like, I think it was one of his shirts. It's a lot of fabric. So he likes the big,
pillowy
fabric.
Yes.
But that doesn't work for every challenge and every style. Like this may have been cool if it was a very different challenge. It didn't fit this challenge. Like that
color too. Something else. I didn't like the color. I didn't like the skirt. It's just so much fabric on her body that you can't see her body. She is drowning in it. I feel like this poor girl was like sweating down the runway trying to stay upright and not topple over. But if she did, she'd have a cushioned fall. Like I just felt like it was.
I feel like this needed like some really like killer leggings or something to balance out the weight up top.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The chat over here is saying like, oh no.
Oh, look at wasted fabric. Oof. True. I mean, like, not wrong. Okay.
I mean, I think it would be a cool winter coat.
Like I said, I think this would be like, I could totally see like my daughter like swooning over this with a pair of like jeans and killer like Nikes or something.
Yeah, for sure. Or some cute boots or whatever. But like, there's nothing elegant to me about it. There's nothing princess to me about it. And I don't know. I just didn't get it.
Lena, you're not wrong. It feels kind of dull for princess. Lena said she dislikes the color. It doesn't scream princess. Yeah, it is kind of dull for a princess. It could actually teeter on villain when it comes to color.
All right. So we've gone through all of the House of Villain, all of the House of Princess.
Yeah.
And we're going to tell everybody who won. And what they do is they say who's in and who's out. Okay.
Yeah.
But just so you guys know, here it is. In was Ethan with House of Villain. So House of Villain won the challenge in the sense of they liked their cohesive looks more than House of Princess because they felt like they were more cohesive. But Ethan won the whole challenge out of the House of Villain. So I would have to say I agree with this pick.
Hold on, Jess. We'll get there.
What's wrong?
Jess said to Joseph, go home. I said, hold on, Jess. We'll get there.
We'll get there. We'll get there. So basically what happens is there's two houses. They pick a house that wins the overall challenge. That was House of Villain. From that house, they pick a winner for the entire challenge. Okay. So their top three for House of Villain was Ethan, who won it, Yuchin, and Jesus. Those were the top three. I honestly would have put Alex in there instead of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they agreed to put Jesus in there. I didn't agree with that. So I think the top three should have been Ethan, Yuchen, and Alex with that bedazzled stand-up collar with the velvet dress. And out of that, Ethan won. So what happens is with House of Princess, since they lost the challenge because they didn't have a cohesive design together, then the person who's out will come from them. And we're going to jump right into that one. But what does everybody think about the Ethan winning House of Villain? Do we agree? Do we disagree?
Yeah. Janet says, looks like a woman fighter.
Yeah.
So says, that's more classic. Jess says, this is great. Ethan, well deserved. I think we're all in agreement here.
Yeah, totally. Now, before I say who is out from House of Princess, I'm going to just go back and recap. This is House of Princess. Joseph, Antonio, Casey, Joan, Melania, and Madeline. Out of these 6, one of them is out. This is their first and last show of season 21 of Project Runway. And before I say who is out, if you haven't watched the show and you're just tuning in with us to do this, I want you to tell me who you think is out from those 6. Is it Casey, Joseph, Antonio, Melania, Joan, or Madeline? Drop your guess in the chat if you haven't watched. If you've already watched, don't spoil it. But I know there's some people in here that haven't watched yet because they just are just going to tune in with us to learn about the show and not.
Well, and if they're relying on us for their recap, like, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So Francie thinks Joseph's out. Audrey Lopez says I would pick Joseph. Joseph should be out for his sweater hoodie. Marcy. I love it. Joseph, but I think you said he's in episode 2, so maybe Lufa?
Oh, shoot. Sorry.
Maybe Lufa. I like the Lufa comment, so maybe Antonio. Well, with that being said, I'm going to tell you who's out. Casey. Casey was out.
So I agree with this decision, but I also think there were some worse offenders. Like I do agree, but I think there were a couple that easily could have taken her slot and I wouldn't have lost sleep over.
So I put this little meme in here because this was one of the first encounters that Christian Siriano had with Casey. Remember, she was on season 21 and he said, we meet again. And she said, 19. I know. And he said, I already need a martini.
Yeah.
And what's so sad is like she got out the first episode of season 19 and her whole point of coming back was to spend more time on the show and show what she can do. And then she got out again on the and I almost feel like they did it on purpose.
And both were group challenges.
Yes.
Because she came back and she's like, I went home on a group challenge the first time I really want to show like what I can do. And then this happened. So like
as soon as they said that there was a group challenge for this one, she immediately started having PTSD and started getting emotional. Because
I can't blame her. Right. And this is why everybody cringes the second they say it's a group challenge or a team challenge or like a duo challenge, because it's hard as a creative to go, I want to do X. Well, I want to do Y. And then how do you create the letter Z and make it work in a way that is really like fitting of everybody?
Right. Now,
like I do think there were worse. Like I said, there were people who easily could have gone home in her place and I would have felt
less bad about it.
Yeah.
I will say this. Between Casey, Antonio, and Joseph, they were the bottom 3 of House of Princess, and I agree with that. But out of those 3, I don't think any of them hit the mark on Princess, but out of those 3, I think hers was the worst construction, and I really do think it came down to that.
I do think it did. I do think if you look at the ending of any reality show, it always will say like in the fine print, which you really don't see anymore because you don't see credits anymore in reality shows because we stream everything. But it would always say like elimination also factors in producers' decisions, da 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 da. So ultimately, there's also a production decision in there. And when it comes down to production, like who is going to be more interesting to watch.
Yeah, who's gonna bring the drama? It's not Casey. It's because she
Yeah.
immediately came out the bat of like, "Woe is me, feel bad for me," and people just don't want that. And when keeping the twins together, I think was a big thing. And then Joseph McCrae with his big personality, I just don't think that they could. I
Yeah.
think she just became like the scapegoat. I love Marcy's comment. Personally, Casey's was better than Joseph's comforter gown.
Yeah. I mean, but you nailed it. And that like they're not going to break up the twins, and Joseph
Mhm.
is great television. So
Yeah. I know. I know. I know. But I wasn't surprised by it, but I did feel bad for her 2 times in a row. Like, how do you like, I would just, like, not leave my house again after
yeah.
that.
Oh, and Audrey, I 1000%
Yeah.
agree. Like I love a good underdog story. I love a good underdog story. And something I thought was interesting
Mhm.
was Helen, I forget her last name at this moment, but Helen was on Project Runway quite a few seasons ago, and she does a lot of work with mood. And I follow her, and she posted on Instagram her looks from her season.
Mhm.
And she said that she actually hasn't watched the show because it was very triggering for her
Mm.
knowing what everybody is going through. And so I do think we need to remember, like, these people are under a boatload of pressure. So
Yeah.
if someone who was on the show, who did quite well on the show, she actually made it quite a ways into the season.
Mhm.
It's like I haven't been able to watch it because it's too triggering for me of everything that I went through.
Yeah.
Um, I think we need to remember all the pressure these people are under. So for Casey to come back and put herself through it again, like, I can only imagine
Yeah.
what she's feeling, and my heart just like breaks for her because you're like, ugh,
Well, and I think it's good that you point that out because as soon as they announced who was out for this, they immediately jumped into the next challenge.
yeah.
Like,
There's
there's
like
no rest. And
none.
you have to remember there's 10 runways in this season. There's 12 contestants. There's the final 2 have the last runway. There's 10 runways, and they only have, like, some of them are one-day challenges at the beginning, and then some of them are, like, 2, 3, 4-day challenges, depending as we get further along, and then when they do their final, they have more time to put it together. But
Yeah.
it's like it's rapid fire and there's no rest. There's no breaks, there's no weekends off, like, they're knocking all of this recording out
Yeah.
very
So that's why,
quickly.
like, we just want to remember that when we're like looking at this stuff. Cause
Yeah,
like, what could I put out in a day? Nothing
right,
like this.
right. Well, and that gets us back to, like, some of these moments. So you see where VJ on the right, this is like a snapshot, some of the memes that I found, but, like, they have to do these interviews too. So outside of designing, outside of sewing, outside of putting these looks together, they have to set aside whenever they're called upon to go, like, do interviews with producers and answer questions and stir up drama. But some of these were hilarious. So this is the one where Christian Siriano says, "My intern could sew that in 30 minutes." Like, that's not hard. That was about Antonio's dress. This one with VJ cracked me up. Today is the first runway, and I'm so scared of what's going to happen. Not for myself, but for the other designers. VJ is a tiny package. Like, she is very outgoing and in her like personality here, but in the room with everybody else doesn't say a word.
Yeah.
Like, very quiet, but like marches to their own beat. Um, Very sassy.
Yeah.
Um, is that my twin brother? Then Ethan says there's another one. Yeah, so there's 2 of them. This one cracked me up where Chin says, "I'm versatile," and then Law Roach was like, "Me too," and they all started dying laughing because it was a cute moment in the judging out of all the judging that I thought was really funny.
Yeah. Is that the last quote you have? Oh, here we go.
Oh,
All right.
no, this one right here with Jesus in that, black and red villain outfit, where they were talking about the coat, and Law Roach was like, "I hated it," and Jesus is like, "I'm sorry you hated the coat," and he's like, "No, no, no, I hated the whole look." Like, no, 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 it was awful. He really didn't like Jesus'. I think the other judges were like, "Look, it's not the like, it's doable, like,
Yeah.
it works, but, like, it's not our favorite," but, like, he was like, "I would not put that on anyone." Um, and I
Well,
get it. I get why he agreed with that.
and I think the banter between La Roche and Jesus would not have been as intense if it wasn't for Jesus's am I being punked when he was pulled out for the bottom 3? And I think him looking at the judges going, am I being punked? Was like,
no, and Jesus wasn't pulled out. It was Antonio.
Oh, sorry. Wrong one. Ignore me.
Antonio was
I'm getting the
pulled
twins
out.
mixed up. Sorry.
Yeah. No, but like Antonio was the one with the attitude problem.
Yeah, sorry.
And no, it's hard because Jesus was in the top 3 and Antonio was in the bottom 3.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Yep. Yeah. And he got emotional and there was like tears. I love this comment from Law Roach because he says it like it is. And yeah, it can come off a little harsh sometimes.
Well,
but like,
had Antonio written down in my notes.
Oh,
it's the
poor
one.
Antonio. If you had asked ChatGPT to make a John Batista Valley for $400, then this is what it would look like. Like he just thought like it was just like a cheaply made outfit. Some of these snapbacks like were really funny, really fast. I had to replay a few to like catch them. But I thought like it was on point with some of it. Now, Antonio is the one that had the butterfly dress. And Antonio was the one blaming Christian because of Christian's advice. No, he wasn't listening to Christian's advice. He was ignoring Christian's advice and then turning around in front of the judges and blaming Christian. But Christian's sitting right there and Christian's not going to take it. He's like, I never told you to put a stupid belt on it. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, and that's where even Nina was like, you're being really defensive. And he's like, no, I'm just speaking my mind and standing up for myself. And then he started blaming that he was Latina.
Oh, wait, hold on. And if Lena's still watching, I think she'll laugh at this. So yeah, because then Antonio is like, maybe it's my Latino side. Yeah. And Nina Garcia straight up like rolled her eyes. And I'm like, Nina Garcia is a beautiful Latina woman. And you're sitting there like blaming that you're like, oh, I'm fiery because I'm like Latino. And Nina's like not having it. Nina was like, no. And she eye rolled so hard.
And then Law Roach was like, no, you are being defensive. And on top of that, it's extremely rude. Like, we are here to give you advice and feedback. And instead of listening to it and shutting up, you're snapping back. That's very rude and disrespectful. And he's like, so, we're really in this moment. Yeah, it's not going to be fun to hear, but you need to hear it so you can get better. And if you can't take that kind of criticism, this is not the industry for you. This industry will spit you up, chew you up, and spit you out. Like,
well, it's all so subjective. You might think you made the most beautiful thing in the world, and someone else might think it's ugly, and vice versa. So, like,
but you're on a game show.
Yeah, I mean,
you got to play by the rules if you want to stick around.
Yeah.
And so that's what it kind of came down to is like, do we get rid of the worst dress or the bad attitude? And that's why I think they chose to get rid of the worst dress, in their opinion, because the bad attitude they can deal with and it makes for good drama. So that wraps up episode 1. We're going to fly through episode 2 a little faster because
episode 1, everybody.
I know. Like,
episode rapid fire. Episode 1
still delivered a lot in this short amount of time.
And
I thought the designs overall, I was impressed with. Individually, I was impressed with most of them. Did I think they all hit the mark? No, but I will say I was impressed with the first impression from these designers for episode 1. Now, episode 2, we switched things up completely. There is no more princess and villain. It is all about Feel the Burn, and they've partnered with Kalia, which is an athletic wear company, to create a multi-purpose athleisure look that mixes fashion and function. I thought that the way they described this challenge to the designers was confusing, because they were basically saying like, I need to be able to do Pilates, but then like go have cocktails with the girls and then go out on the town. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't think I could get from Pilates and yoga pants to going out on the town in one look, but that was basically what they were asked to do.
Yeah. So I'll read this real quick. So they continued to work in houses, as you've seen, House of Burn, House of Lotus. They need to create a cohesive capsule activewear collection that goes from workout to the weekend. Their special guest was head designer for Kalia, Alicia Scott. Kalia provided lookbooks and fabrications for the challenge, which I want to go back to in a second. Kalia will produce and sell the winning look from the winning collection. It was, again, a one-day challenge. And but it says they provided fabrications for the challenge. But again, I mean, because of tight editing, like you really didn't see the options they had to work with.
Well, they provided the material.
Yeah, but you didn't really see what they had to choose from. Like you really never got to see what they had to choose from.
And it's like one team had to choose from these and another team had to choose from these. And again, they had to be cohesive. So it's like they all had to agree on something and then they all use that. So like each team's looked different. So they're still in two houses. They're House of Burn and House of Lotus, but there was a switch up.
There's a switch up. So yep, Ethan as the winning designer from the previous challenge got to swap one member from one house to another member of another house.
So he got to get rid of someone on his team and pick someone from the other team if he wanted to. He didn't have to.
And what did he do, Bethany?
He took Jesus off his team and put him on the other team.
So now the twins are reunited.
But then he grabbed Madeline, which I thought was a strong choice in choosing. I thought everybody thought he would get rid of VJ because him and VJ did not mesh well either. Him and Jesus, I don't think really had an issue together, but Jesus had issues with like Yuchin and VJ. Jesus had issues with everybody. He was very vocal about it. But I thought Ethan and Jesus, at least up until that point, respected each other and did well together. I don't think, at least I didn't see them clashing.
Yeah. And Jess, I agree. She said, man, that's messy. Good TV. Yep.
Yeah. So they give him this power, being the winner and everybody's happy for him. And then instantly he becomes like the villain, right? Because he is and anybody who was put in that position would have chosen to swap somebody, right? So how do you not take it personally? Do I think he made the right choice of getting rid of Jesus? No. Because Jesus, at the end of the day, is a strong designer.
Yeah.
He's produced some really good looks so far. He was in the top 3 in the first challenge. So why would you get rid of someone who was in your top 3 who's a strong designer? Like you could have still gotten Madeline and swapped VJ or someone else who was not in the top 3 of your group, right? Like I didn't get that. I didn't get that. I thought, but again, he had moments to make a decision and I don't think he really thought it through with the long game.
Yeah.
And just thought like Jesus is annoying.
Yeah.
He's a vocal person. I get it, but like, I don't know. So now the houses are House of Burn is Alex, Angelo, Ethan, Madeline, VJ, and Yuchin. And then House of Lotus is Antonio, Belania, Jesus, Joan, and Joseph. So Antonio and Jesus are the twins. And they had to come up with a design. And our guest judge for this round is Sarah Foster, who was the co-founder of Our Favorite Daughter.
I gotta look this up. I don't actually know what this is.
So Favorite Daughter is a clothing line. She's co-founder with her sister. They look like twins themselves, but she was the guest judge on the show. And she's been a judge in the past, here and there. So I thought it was interesting that she was the guest judge. And then the lady from Kalia, I couldn't find a photo of her, so I didn't put her in here, but she did have a little segment kind of introducing the pitch of the challenge to the designers, but then we didn't really see her again.
No, which again, I think it's the editing. Again, usually that person comes back around for like judging or something else.
Well, and I get them not wanting to pick the winning, but if your company's the one that's like producing this winning look, you should have a say in what that look is. And the fact that she's not back on the judging panel is kind of shocking. I thought that was weird.
Yeah, I don't disagree. And you've got a different clothing brand judging?
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was really weird. We're going to jump right into House of Burn. This is the athleisure wear from day to night, day to weekend. This was Yuchin. And I put this picture of this skirt in here specifically because Heidi was like, That is the tiniest skirt I've ever seen, but she's got some killer legs.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, it's super tiny.
I mean, how we didn't see her butt is I don't know.
I don't know.
It's
So
a mystery butt.
Charlene was sitting next to me watching this episode, and she's like, "Oh my God, I love that jacket." And I'm like, "Yeah, the jacket is fire.
The
But
jacket's amazing.
this skirt is like,
Oh, you know what would have been better is the skirt was like pants that matched the jacket
yeah.
and not those pirate boots.
Yeah, it would be really great with like some super fun, like almost like low-rise wide leg pants.
Yeah.
Like very circa like 90s-esque would
Yeah.
be super fun.
Yeah, I felt like the skirt was a miss. Also, the hem of the skirt is not even all the way around. You see the corner where
Yeah.
the pleat hangs down? That drove me nuts. Like, if it's not gonna be even, make it obvious so it
Are we
looks
sure it's not a
intentional.
design choice? Or is it
No,
just
that is
like
not an obvious enough design choice. It's
Okay.
too subtle, but it's enough to, like, make me go, "Ooh." Like, my OCD was like, "That is not how you do a pleated skirt." It just felt really rushed, and it was so tiny, and even some of the other designers were like, "Oh my god, that is so short."
Yeah.
I hope she had something underneath it.
Well, usually they comment if they end up seeing bits, and they didn't comment that they were seeing bits, so she must
Good
be
editing on the producers, to not show
Yeah.
any bits, 'cause I'm sure someone saw some bits. There was yeah. And I don't think there was anything under this jacket, so it was just a jacket and a mini skirt.
Yeah.
So it wasn't my favorite.
Yeah.
VJ did the rope through and hand like went through and cut. Now, we did not see the construction of this dress at all. There was no showing of her like doing all the little holes, cutting all the holes to weave all of
Yeah.
that. I thought the concept was cool. However, this style dress does not say I'm going to go do Pilates. I thought if it had been a bodysuit and not a dress, like I've worn this shaped dress to work with a blazer when I worked in like a professional office. I would wear like these kind of dresses, like were sleeveless, and then I would have a blazer over it for meetings, and it was like a skirt that would kind of hug your body. So like that does not scream workout wear. But I did kind of like the laces going through it. However, one of my favorite quotes from this episode was when who was it? The guest judge, Sarah Foster, she's like, everybody else is kind of okay with this dress, but then she's like, I absolutely hate it. And she's like, does this not remind anybody else of tampon strings hanging down at the bottom of the dress?
It was my least favorite look. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Audrey said I couldn't unsee the tampon strings after that comment. Yes, it was, yeah.
There's a lot.
If this had been a top with a different pant, an all black pant or something, that would have been different. Like I felt like it just was, at least her booty wasn't hanging out.
Truth.
Madeline, I actually really liked this one, and I could not get a full photo of the whole thing top and bottom together, but my only issue with this one is that the top of the skirt at the waist doesn't fit. It's like hanging off of her. So the fit and the waist wasn't on point, but I liked the skirt. I assume that there's some like little shorts underneath. You could still work out in that. I like the mesh overlay. I like the disconnect between the waistband and the sleeve armband and the mesh. Like I thought those were like some fun elements that are not easy to achieve, especially with mesh, especially with a rib knit band. But I actually really and I liked the little higher point on the skirt. Like I actually really liked this one. And again, they didn't really comment a whole lot on it.
Yeah, this was actually my favorite look of the challenge. I thought it was like modern day Sporty Spice. It felt really cute.
This does scream Spice Girls.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do like it a lot. If I had the body, I'd wear it.
Yeah.
All right, Ethan. Ethan did a very simple black bodysuit, but down the one side, he's got like that red ribbon of pop of color. Very well executed. The fit is perfect. I like the simple hat with it. I like the off the side collar. Do you see that?
Yeah, I do see it. And you know, the other thing I just realized they don't comment. Usually there's an accessory wall that they're pulling from.
Yeah.
And they don't comment about that anymore this season either.
No.
I got to tell you, I like it. It's clean. It's simple. But now that I'm looking at it again, the first thing that pops in my head is eel.
Yeah, it's giving eel vibes. I wouldn't wear it because
I
it
mean,
doesn't have
but it meets
pockets.
the challenge. You know, it meets the challenge. And it's
It
beautifully
does.
constructed.
It fits her well. It's
Mhm.
I don't think those are the right shoes for it. Heels.
I think I missed the shoes. I think I was too
But
busy looking at the way it walked.
but it didn't leave me wowed either.
I am thankful for the visuals, by the way.
Oh, you're so welcome.
I just
I
want to let you know.
had a lot of fun doing it. Angelo. Oh, Angelo.
I mean, the pin tucks, I think the pin tucks, I think the idea is cool, but I don't think he did enough of them. I think if you're going to go
Well,
pin
and
tuck,
he
it
did
should be like
one
pin
here and
tuck
here.
all over the whole thing.
He positioned two right here as well, which
yeah, but I mean, like you could like pin tuck the whole thing, and it might actually really go like the pants, the shirt, the whole
if
deal.
it was yes, you pin
But-
tuck the whole fabric and then you cut out your design or whatever. But
Yeah.
the color choice, there's no color, and when you have a lighter color with a pin tuck, it
Yeah.
just gets lost in translation. I honestly, when it first came down, because again, we didn't see the construction of this being made, when it came down, I thought it was wrinkled or had like a bad hem along the pant line.
Yeah, I could see
I
that.
didn't know that it was pin tucked until the
close up.
commentation. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, like this is cute. I would probably wear this. I could see someone having this in the store. This looks like ready to wear, but we're not here for ready to wear. We're here for pushing the boundaries. I also do not see someone wearing this for a night out. I think this is truly like I might go grocery shopping in this.
This is called I'm PMSing and eating a pint of ice cream.
And watching Project Runway.
Project Runway. Wishing I could sew like they can.
Yeah.
Wishing I could make a sweatsuit in like 8 hours.
I mean, I could totally make this in like 3 hours.
Yeah, but like but I mean like shopping, drafting, interviews, the whole nine, you know, like, and it's one thing when we're making for us and not for somebody else. Like we know what size we wear.
I could make this in 4 hours and film the tutorial.
I could not.
Like I could sew this in my sleep with my eyes closed. Like I've made so many loungewear sets and I've done pin tucks. I did pin tucks. Like I did a pin tuck pleat all the way down the front of pant leg on a loungewear set the night before I flew to Sydney.
Yeah. No, well, I can't. I own the fact that I can't.
So to me, while this looked cozy and I'd want to wear it, I feel like Angelo is just sleeping. I don't remember his last episode challenge design, which we talked about already, and this one left me forgetting who he was again. And I'm like, you have got to show your personality. Now I will say they did kind of dive in a little deeper on who he is as a person in this episode. Yeah. He's a dad. He's got a little girl. Like, I like that they shared a little bit about him, but I'm like, don't tell me that and then get rid of him, because then I'm going to be like, oh, now I feel really bad for him. But like, they kind of share like why he's doing this. And it's like, okay, well then let me see it. Like, let me see your fire that you're talking about. Cause these two designs are not it. And he's not going to make it with very much longer with this, in my opinion.
No.
All right, next up. Oh, I lost my mouse. Let me go back to my mouse. Here we go. All right, next up is Alex. Okay, so Alex slayed in the first episode with that big collar with the beads and the velvet dress, and then she comes out with this, and I'm just like,
I think one of the comments from the judges is, I'm not sure who's wearing a corset to work out.
In a sauna. In a sauna. She said, I would wear this. He goes, really? A corset in a sauna? Like, never have I ever, never would you ever. No. And the fact that the corset like comes down weird in the front, the hem on the pants were awful. What was the weird thing in the back? She never made loungewear pants.
I mean, they did lean into her Japanese heritage, which I thought was cool. They kind of gave some backstory about her Japanese heritage and things she learned from her grandmother. So I know she was trying to really bring in like her Japanese heritage into this challenge, which is great. I don't think this was the right substrate to do it with, because the pleating, she was trying to do some like pleating in the back, and this is not
avoiding seams. So the whole pant had no seams except for just in the back, which when you're making like workout wear that's fitted like leggings, to not have a seam in the front, we love that, right? We love not having the seam in the front that splits us in half, right? Like we love that, right? We love a gusset. But like this, like overlap, and it's like she pinned the pants shut.
Yeah. It was,
and then she pinned the hem up at the bottom because she didn't hem it.
So Francie was saying, what's the orange thing hanging out? So Francie, she did the corset in like a style. Like if you go back and look at like 1600s like gowns of like queens and stuff, how the corsets would have like a thing that kind of came down in the front that covered like the belly panel, and then you had the big like ballroom skirt coming out from there. It had like that kind of vibes.
Yeah, it was, and then the jacket had these straps that were supposed to kind of, I think, give like this kimono tie thing, but the ties aren't for the waist. They're like hanging up here and they're just flapping. She ran out of time. She should have never done a corset. If she had just eliminated the corset, tied the jacket shut like kimono style, I think she could have hidden the pant issue in the back and then with knits like these pants, you don't have to hem. You can just cut it off. It's not going to fray. It can roll up, and that can be a style choice. Like, I just thought it was very...
Yeah, but they would have been called out for that. Anytime they have an unfinished hem, they're always called out for it. So I think they're like, well, I'd rather have a bad hem than an unfinished one.
I don't know.
Yeah.
This was pretty rough.
Yeah.
And this made me really concerned for Alex because I really liked her outfit in the first episode.
Well, not everything's going to be a winner. What's the next one?
Next is Belania. I actually love this.
Oh, so we're in House of Lotus now.
Yes, House of Lotus.
Okay.
So second house. We've gone through the House of Burn. We saw those. Now we're into House of Lotus. They've gone a different color scheme with a fun, bold print, which we see just a little bit in the bodice here. But I love the mesh underlay. And then she could take the mesh off if she wanted to. So I feel like the mesh kind of dresses it up for the evening, but you could take that off to work out in. I do love this skirt. I would wear this skirt. No.
Well, I have to, again, this is where I have to remember it's not off the rack. So like in a fashion sense, yes, it's fun.
Yeah, it's different.
But to meet the challenge, like it's going to be something that's mass produced. I don't know if I like the ruching up the center.
Yeah, I think there's some work on some of that. I did like that they put the print in the backside of the pocket, and then the waistband actually fit really, really well.
Yep.
I like the sneakers with it, but you could put some booties with it to dress it up. Like I thought it had a lot of potential. And if it had shorts underneath the skirt that you could that matched the top, you could take that off and do Pilates or yoga or whatever. Yeah. So I thought this was pretty clever and a fun little spin. Antonio, this was giving like 70s hippie vibes.
This felt very, this like, let's go party.
Like, is she wearing knee-high white boots underneath and ready to disco?
Yeah. This feels Studio 54.
Especially with the high pony and that one glove on her arm. I don't understand the glove. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it fit well, though. And to do the whole thing in that busy print was a lot. And again, he's the one that picked the print for this group. And like he tried to push the butterflies on everybody else and no one wanted to do it. He, again, pick this print, even though Joan was very vocal that she didn't like it, but she was willing to work. She was trying to be a team player. But it's like, why can't you let someone else pick the print this time?
You know what would have been fun with this is the top is cute. The print, cut the print off, do like a fun like biker short, and then do like a really cute like jacket of some kind. Yeah. Like that. That would have been Pilates to drinks.
Yeah. Yeah. Agree. Jesus, I actually would wear this tomorrow.
I mean, it looks super comfortable. The crotch just felt super, super long.
It's like a high waist,
like a mile long.
You know what it is? It's a model.
Yeah.
With a very high waist. Like that pant comes up to almost like what would like an underboob. Like I would have to fold the pants over, like we did back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, I think I was so distracted by how long the crotch was that I almost couldn't look at anything else.
I honestly didn't even notice because I thought it just made her look so tall.
Yeah.
And I would wear these pants. I would wear that like crop jacket. I've made similar pants and crop jackets before and I love that he still gave a shirt underneath with a little bit of that print and he made the bag out of the fabric too. He made the bag to go with it.
Yeah,
Now,
everybody knows I'm here for a good bag.
I know, right? I like the slouchy bag because it's like I can throw my gym stuff in there, but then I have stuff to freshen up for after, and then I can go out and meet the girl. Like, and it doesn't look like I'm just carrying around a duffel bag. So I thought it was perfect. One thing that they didn't show on the runway that they showed in the judging is there is a zipper up the side seam of these pants that zips down so that it goes from wide leg to more like straight leg and kind of closes. Freaking love it. I have to add that into a design someday.
So
Like,
that was I
so love
completely
that.
agree. I saw that. Well, my first thought was that's a lot of extra fabric bulked up in the leg. But if you
Yes.
didn't have as much, I actually woke up this morning thinking about it. I'm like,
I know.
how did you construct that? And then this morning I like kind of
Mhm.
figured it out. I was like, oh, I think that's how he did it. I'm like, that's really smart. No, I
But
could be wrong, but
when you hide it in
yeah.
perfectly, holy cow. And it's just like it's like an extra piece,
Yep.
but then you have your zipper, but then it's like it closes and it becomes like an invisible zipper. It is stunning.
Yeah, it was
You
really
couldn't
cool.
see it
I
going
think
down the
yeah,
runway.
I think he could have made it slightly narrower so it wasn't so bulky when you zipped it, but you know what? That's like you're in the moment, so he made what he made, you know.
And that is some heavy fabric.
It is heavy fabric.
But what's cool is like he zipped it down and
Is
it
it
can
like a
go all the way
scuba
down.
knit?
Huh?
Is it like a scuba knit
It kinda
almost?
looks like a scuba knit 'cause it's so
Yeah.
structured,
Yeah.
but once he zipped it down, he zipped it back up a little bit, so you can instead of having it be a completely open pant, you could have it more of like a flare at the bottom.
Yeah.
So again, like, it's another way to be versatile, and that's where that comment came from.
Yeah.
I loved it. Joan, what'd you think of
So
Joan? Oh, you're already yawning on
it's
it.
almost my bedtime, guys. I am an old soul. Like I go to bed and read my book so early.
We're almost done.
Oh no, you're fine. It's fun. I mean, I think she was trying really hard to meet the challenge. I
This was
think
way outside of her comfort zone.
this was
Remember,
way outside of her comfort zone.
Joan
So
does
like
the big florals.
so I guess I'm gonna say it's not offensive, but it's not a home run.
No. I just don't like I've never liked the split where when you
Yeah.
walk, the center fabric goes between your legs. I
Yeah.
just have never liked how that looks. I think
Well,
if
and
those were
especially because it
actual
can kind of get like diapery because
it
it can like
does.
come in between your legs and it looks almost like a diaper situation.
It's
And like it's just
not
it's very
flattering.
I don't know how to do it without it doing that.
You don't. But what you could do is where it splits, have zippers. And you can
Yeah.
close it down and then like bring it back up so it doesn't do it in the crotch area.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or move the split to closer to the hip. So it's so
Um,
wide that it can't do that. So I
yeah.
think it's just because it was such a narrow piece of fabric where the split was, I think that's what but then like the whole top comes off and it was really pretty. She had another print underneath with this bodice. So it was actually not bad considering she had no interest in using this fabric. I thought she
Yeah.
made it work. Joseph, again, it's like he lives in winter form and wants all the big pillowy stuff. I have to say this is one of my least favorite from this house, and the judges loved it. But I just don't feel like this outfit did this girl any favors.
No, I don't think it's flattering to her figure. I really don't.
It's like she's gonna pop out of that top. And what you don't see here is when she turned around and was walking back down, like it looked uncomfortable and it felt like they were gonna have to cut her out of it. Like it
Yeah.
just looked like it didn't fit her. And I just felt bad for her. And then this like diaper on her head.
Yeah.
I just didn't get it.
Yeah. I almost feel like ice cream.
I like the jacket by itself. He's great at jackets, okay? Like, I
The
like the
the
jacket.
the hat makes me feel like an ice cream cone.
Oh,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. I was just not a fan of this one.
Yeah.
I think part of it is the fabric color choice.
I agree. And that's why, like, I wish we could have seen what they got to choose from.
Yeah, I know. Okay. All right. Well, that was the last of them. I didn't mean to go ahead too soon. Okay, so out of those, House of Lotus, which was Joseph, Joan, Jesus, Antonio, Melania, those 5? Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The other house had 6. So House of Burn, they did not win this challenge. House of Burn is in the bottom, and the person leaving will come from House of Burn. But House of Lotus got the win. And so they had some favorites. Jesus being one of those favorites, Joseph being one of those favorites, but the winner was Jesus. And I actually have to agree with this. I don't think it was the best choices, to be honest. This episode left me wanting more out of the designers. Yeah. I think they really struggled with the challenge concept and the brief, but I do agree that out of everybody, his outfit was the most complete, best styled, had extra features like the zippers down the legs, made his own bag. Like, I feel like he actually, even though he's a pain in the butt to work with in these teams, he slayed. And what was so dramatic about this episode was the fact that, like, him and Ethan now became arch nemesis, like enemies, right? And Ethan's like, I'm taking him down. But what Ethan worked on was taking him down with his own outfit, not with his team's collection. Yeah. And there was no leader in House of Burn. Absolutely no leadership.
Well, I think that was this La Roche comment, which was one of my favorites, because they kind of called out, I think this was it, when he kind of called out Ethan, and Ethan was like, oh, he said something, and then he's like, I don't believe you. I think you knew you had a great look and didn't give an F about the other people on your team.
Yeah. So it's like, I think you were just trying to, like, save face, but, like, I think you only care about yourself.
Yeah.
And this was a team challenge. And you weren't, and even other people in the team were like, we didn't have a leader. There's no one stepped up to be the leader. And this was Ethan's chance to do so.
Yeah.
But when you lose that big voice like Jesus, you lose that natural leadership. Someone's got to rise to the occasion. When you have meek, quiet Madeline come to your team, that's not going to be the leader, right? Like, it needs to be the person who won the challenge. And it was Ethan. He dropped the ball. So what was really dramatic is, like, Jesus is like, I'm going to prove him wrong for getting rid of me, yada, yada, yada. And he did. And, you know, while he is annoying sometimes, he's a strong designer. And I would wear this outfit. And now Kalia will be making this outfit and selling it. So that's really cool.
And we don't know who's out, because that will be shown in the beginning of the next episode, which is another format change that I'm not a fan of.
Yeah, so the only reason we knew who was out with Casey from episode 1 is because they shared it in the beginning of episode 2. So now we always find out who the winner is at the end of the episode, but we have to wait till the next week to find out who's out. So unfortunately, we don't know who's out. Yeah. But let's take our guesses. And I'm going to go back to...
They dropped 2 episodes this week, just for super duper clarity. So the season premiere July 31st, they dropped the first 2 episodes. So we're not behind. It's just that they dropped the first 2 right away.
Okay. So let's run through the House of Burn. The 6 designers, 3 of which are going to be in the bottom 3. So let's go through these and figure out who the bottom 3 are. And then we'll each say who we think is going to get axed. Be out. Alex, I think Alex is in the bottom 3.
Yeah, and I'm really hoping she's not out, because I really do enjoy her.
I know. And Angelo, bottom
again,
3.
I'm hoping. Here's what I've learned in my 40 seasons of watching Survivor. Okay, so there are certain reality shows that I love here, folks. Survivor, I love. Amazing Race, I love. Big Brother, I love. I'm not going to admit that super loud, but what I have learned in all of my seasons of watching reality television is that usually when they start to give you the background on people, that usually means they're going home pretty soon. So I'm hoping I'm wrong.
I know.
But because they gave us, like, the backstory on Angelo,
Because they hadn't really talked about him before then. They had to give him this few minutes.
That's what happens. They come in, they give you the backstory. Like out of nowhere, you start to get this backstory. You start to like this person and like they're gone.
I know.
So I'm hoping
and we don't have a lot of backstory on Alex yet. Just very little.
Very little. But they like went into like how Angela's got a daughter. Her name is Ava.
They showed him with his daughter.
Tattooed on his neck, how he changed her life. And I'm like, Ava. Oh no, that might mean he's going home. So I'm hoping I'm wrong. I really am.
I know. So I think he's in the bottom 3. Ethan was
he's not going anywhere.
He's not going anywhere with that. He did win out of his group. He had one of the top designs. Madeline, that's safe. She's not going anywhere.
I think it's VJ, Alex, and Angela in the bottom 3.
I agree. Because at least even though the skirt is barely there,
short, it's still like a cool
look. Jacket and the concept is there.
Yeah.
This was a train wreck and did not meet the brief. So VJ, I think will still be safe though. I really do think it comes down to Angelo and Alex, and I
really hope we're wrong because
I do too.
I really like both of them.
But I think Angelo's been so quiet. There's no drama. I keep getting him and Antonio mixed up, and I'm like, wait, there's 2 Antonio, Angelo. Like I keep getting their names mixed up. And I'm just like, I sleep on him. Like he hasn't done anything to make me remember him. Whether it's the drama, the outfits, nothing. At least Alex produced a killer outfit last time. Angelo didn't. So he's like 0 for 2 for me.
Yeah.
Anyway, so VJ, Angelo, and Alex, I think, are in the bottom 3. They went kind of hard on Alex, but I think that was a diversion to who's really going home. But
yeah, because ultimately that corset construction, I think, will probably show what she's capable of.
Well, in her last episode will show. I mean, I know they kind of lean back on if they're fighting between 2 people, they look back at what they've done to see who's been the most improved or who's shown the most potential. And I think between Alex and Angelo, Alex has more.
Yeah.
So we don't know who is going home yet. We'll know this week when the next episode airs, episode 3. And then we'll come back next Sunday and recap episode 3 and announce who is out for episode 2. So that's the end of that. That's the end of my slide deck. I hope you guys liked it.
This is how things work, folks. Bethany and I are just chatting. And it's like, hey, wouldn't it be fun if we did this? And then here we are, like less than 48 hours later.
You mentioned it Friday evening or afternoon. Or no, I think you may have said it Thursday.
And no, it was Friday. It was Friday because it was after the show came out.
Okay, well. Just trying to make myself look a little better. I get when someone gives me an idea
there's nothing wrong with it.
And I get on board, I run with it. And that's what I spent my Saturday doing. So I really hope you liked it.
Well, and then I was feeling serious guilt. I'm like, this was just an idea. I didn't expect you to spend all this work on it.
Like, I loved it. I mean, I had 10 million other things I could be doing, but like,
well, I'm having like a relaxing Saturday doing back to school shopping.
I sat in my recliner all day and then I went and hung out with my nephew for like an hour and then I came home and finished it. I didn't mind it one bit.
Okay. Well, good. I think we all appreciated it.
I love doing slide decks in Canva. It's kind of my nerdy side.
Well, then she texted me last night. I think it was like at like 8:30. I think you sent me the StreamYard link. You're like, here's the StreamYard link. You can test it. And I'm like, can I test it tomorrow? Because I've got a date with ACOTAR. And I'm going to go to bed. I'm reading the first ACOTAR book. And I'm like, I'm at that point where I'm like 8 chapters in. So now we're starting to meet, yo.
I feel like I should reread that series along with you.
Yeah.
Because it was really good and I actually liked it. And I haven't read it and it's been a while. So maybe I'll jump on that. And maybe we do like after all of these, we do like a little book series and we kind of break down the books a little bit by bit. Cool. Jess says she appreciates the effort since I haven't watched yet. Gotta download the episodes for my flight tomorrow. Even if you know what happened and you do, it's still worth watching because there was some really funny moments. I feel like we barely scratched the surface on some of the stuff that happened in the short amount of time there were.
I think we barely scratched the surface because there's not as much meat to dive into too. And if I can like appeal to like the heads of Disney / ABC / Freeform / Hulu, whatever, like an hour and a half, like this show deserves an hour and a half of airtime because there's the reality is the people watching the show most likely are people who sew. And we like to see the drafting. We like to see the sketching. We like to see time at mood. We like to hear Christian's feedback. And I remember the seasons where like they would actually go up on stage and like look at the designs up close and like really take a look at things. This show deserves the airtime. So
it felt rushed.
It felt very rushed. So like 46 minutes does not do this show justice in regards of showing the people who are pretty much your target demographic what is happening behind the scenes. Yes, Jess, the sewists want more sewing because like, again, from putting on my marketing hat, every season I remember before this, they would always say the Brothers Sewing Studio or
the Singer Studio.
The Singer Studio. Like they didn't even like, I'm sorry, if I worked in marketing at Bernina / Burnett, I'd be kind of bummed because they didn't mention that in either of the first two episodes.
They showed the sewing machines once. And like I said, it was when VJ and Jesus were fighting over it. And that was it. Like, I don't remember them really calling out the machines at all or showing them at all. And when they talked about like the salon studio where they would go and take their models to do like their hair and makeup, they briefly mentioned that it was sponsored by Ulta. Ulta Beauty Salon. And it was very quick. And I was just like, they didn't even get like a logo or like a zoom into the room kind of like nothing. It was, I don't know.
I really feel like
maybe it'll come.
Maybe, but the time to do it is episode 1, episode 2, when people are like getting hooked in because, like I said, I recognize that Burnett 08 from 20 feet away, but like nobody else does because like the 08 just came on the market like a year plus ago. So it's a newer machine. It's a straight stitch, semi-industrial machine. Most people don't know about it unless you go to your Bernina or Burnett dealer regularly. It's a great machine. And like, I'd want to, if I'm in marketing, I want you to be plugging my machine.
I want to see it being sewn on.
Yeah.
We didn't see it being sewn on.
Like briefly from afar. So if I can appeal to anybody at the higher ups in production, this show deserves an hour and a half, fine with commercials, hour 10 minus commercials. But like, it deserves that extra 25 minutes of true television time because the people who are watching want to see the nuts and bolts of how this stuff's coming together. Because when I started watching the show and it first came out, so got season 21, like I was watching it to learn. I was watching it to like, I knew
inspired
to be inspired to learn, to like see what people can do. And it like inspired me to learn, to be better, to grow. But what I'm seeing, unfortunately, is teetering more on the drama versus on the actual sewing and the challenge. And so like, if I can appeal to anybody is like, I just show us the meat.
I mean, I used to be able to relate to this show a lot when I went to fashion school and learned to drape and learn to draft and do all of that. Like I had to do that all the time and I loved it. And I used to be able to see all of that. It took me right back to those days and those sweet memories and how much I loved it. And then like this episode, I was like, it's over. That's it. I don't even know how we got to these garments. Where did these come from? Like, I didn't even see the fabrics you chose. I didn't see your sketches. I didn't see you sewing anything. I didn't see you draping anything. What did I even see?
Yeah. And they did show some sketches, but it was like a quick finish sketch. It wasn't really like, I want to, creatives inspire other creatives, you know? And I think,
how are we going to inspire the next generation of designers if we don't show them what that process really looks like? I think you just made it look a lot easier than it really is because all of a sudden, poof, Disney magic, wave your magic wand. Fairy godmother said, here's a design.
So, I mean, I hope that we all watch it and they see that it's worth investing the time and money into the production. And then maybe they'll like turn up the dial a little bit.
So Project Runway producers, if you're listening, from one sewist to you guys and all the people in our comments, We want to see it be made. I want to experience a combination of what you produced with a little bit of how it's made show, right?
Yeah,
That show
yeah.
where it literally just shows you how everything's made from start to finish. I love those shows. Like, I need a little the happy balance between the two,
Yeah.
and we'd all be happy because you're
Yeah.
still gonna have time for your drama.
Yeah. I mean, there's always been drama. There's been drama
Yeah.
since season 1 and they found
Yeah.
time for it. So
You're not complaining that there's too much. I was just cut too much time out of the show. And what you sacrificed was the stuff that meant the most to those of us who watch it.
Yeah, because
Um,
ultimately,
yeah.
like, the people who are watching this are not people who dislike sewing. They're people who love sewing. So
Yeah. Or love fashion or love the art of
Mhm.
it but I think a lot of people just like learning, even if you don't do it, learning the
Yeah.
process, right?
Yeah.
In a fun way.
Mhm.
I miss it. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping maybe it'll get better as there's fewer designers. I'm
Yeah, because then
holding out
there's more
hope.
airtime for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, guys, this has been really fun. Just a quick reminder for all of you. Audra and I are the Social Hour podcast. So we do talk all about sewing. If you missed some of that from the Project Runway show, we talk about it every week on Tuesdays on our podcast. You can watch on our YouTube channel. You can listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or anywhere that you stream podcasts. But Apple and Spotify are our two biggest ones that most people listen through. But wherever you get your podcast, you can listen or you can watch on YouTube. If you are watching on YouTube right now, we would appreciate, I'm going to ask for a one-click favor, and that is just to go subscribe to whatever channel you're watching, whether it's my channel, Audra's channel, or the Social Hour podcast, or when this ends, if you want to hop over to one of those other ones and give us a subscribe. We're going to continue to do stuff. We're streaming in multiple places, but this is our first time doing this. We've had so much fun hanging out with you. It won't always be this long because we're not normally going through 2 episodes each time. But this is a fun way to kick it off. And I appreciate you hanging out with us tonight and doing it. And we'll be back next Sunday for another one. But this Tuesday, our episode is the Great Sewing Machine Debate.
The Great Sewing Machine Debate.
And it was a great debate. So if you are anything curious about sewing machines, we had lots to talk about it. All types of sewing machines. And that is coming out on Tuesday of the Social Hour podcast. So we'll see you there.
Yeah.
And thanks for
tuning
in.
Next week won't be as long because Audra's got a bedtime.
Yeah, Audra, I'm ready to start a project. I'm all amped up. And it's only like, it's not even 9 o'clock yet.
I'm sleeping.
And I did a 2-hour live before this, a sew along.
Hey, I edited a podcast this afternoon.
And I appreciate that. I actually have to go finish uploading Tuesday's podcast. But yeah, no, we appreciate all of you being here and hanging out with us. Go subscribe to all of our different channels or to our Facebook pages. We really appreciate it. It costs you nothing. It helps us out a lot on the back end. If you listen to our podcast, I've never said this before, but if you ever listen to our podcast through Apple or Spotify or one of those other platforms, you can click follow in a podcast platform, and that helps us out a lot on the back end as well. So we really appreciate it. We want to keep doing all that we're doing, and those little things make a big difference. So
hold on. Francie said, "Thank you for doing it. Can I say it on this live?" What do you mean? Can you say it on this live, Francie?
You can I say I was on this live? Yes.
Oh,
you were part of the live.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. We appreciate all of you tuning in live. If you're watching the replay of this, that's wonderful. Still leave in the comments and the replay your feedback on these looks from the first 2 episodes. And then make sure you watch episode 3 before next Sunday if you don't want
spoilers again.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
All right.
Audra, this was fun.
It was great. All right. Have a great week, everybody.